Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hey Shady Lady and I am doing a planner video today. It's been a while since I made a video, so I thought that I would sit down and show y'all what I've been up to for the last month or two. I've been pouring a lot of my creative energy into my 2024 planner and I'm very excited to show off what I've done so far. If you've followed my content for a while, you know that planners have been a big part of my interests and hobbies. I've dabbled a bit with happy planners, filofaxes, bullet journals. I've tried to make my own planners in sketchbooks fully from scratch, kind of scrapbooking meets bullet journaling. And I think here in 2024, that's kind of what I'm falling back to, is using a Wonderland 222 planner, which I did do a full flip through of when I first got it, an unboxing and a flip through, which I'll leave a link to the stream in my description box below if you want to check that out. This is my first time using a Wonderland 222. It's like a hobonichi style planner. I'm only 4 weeks into using this planner, but I'm kind of obsessed. It's working like a charm for me. And so I'm really excited to show some of the systems that I'm using, some of the supplementary planners I'm using, the supplies, the stickers, the pens, the markers, and all of that. We'll go ahead and take a nice little flip through and see what I've got. So this is a pretty nice little companion size, I think. It's about the size of my hand. It is a solid black, kind of minimalist outside. It didn't have any of these tabs on it. I did add all of these myself to kind of not only mark the months of the year and where those are, but also the different major sections of the planner that I'm constantly flipping through and needing to reference. It was entirely blank on the front, but I added a sticker kind of as a little decal just to set the vibes. So when you first flip into it, I've got several pages that I've kind of decorated as like vibe checks or aesthetic in a little bit of a way. And I just kind of wanted to scrapbook a bit and create like an energy signature, if you will, in the planner. So on the front page, when I was designing the very start of it, I like this fairy because she's kind of like the hermit card. She's wandering through the night. Her face is up. She's seeking something new. She's got lanterns lighting her way. There's a balanced feel to this. And I have this phrase, return to the roots, as well as a little poem that says, when it was over, nothing defined us other than the moments that made us feel free. Feel the moment. Return to the roots had this feeling of like also kind of back to basics and to the foundation. And I think along my years of being a content creator, when I first started making content in 2015 and 2016, I was really focused on like aesthetic, fashion, doing my nails, makeup, hair videos, clothing hauls, and planner videos, and book reviews, and movie reviews, and tarot videos, and variety and lifestyle, really just around my little nerdy, witchy life. And I started streaming on Twitch shortly after I started making YouTube videos, and Twitch kind of kicked off. There was an instant gratification from it, and I started making Twitch tutorials, and I had a few viral hits. A lot of you watching this video probably found me from my Twitch videos. That's great and awesome, but I did find myself falling into that algorithm trap where it's like I have to make what's not even what's popular, but what's working for my channel. I need to double down on it, and that's just made me unhappy. So this return to the roots and back to basics foundation kind of energy that I'm trying to channel this year is to go back to what I originally started with and what I actually spend my days doing. And that's what we're seeing here in this planner. So what's really cool for me is like every day when I get home from work, I immediately come to my planner and I update it with, I've got several trackers in here that I'm updating on a day-to-day basis. So a symptom tracker that I've kind of written my own key for. When I first got this planner, I didn't really know what to do with this year at a glance. Some people use it as like step counters or weight trackers. You know, I could maybe use it for tip tracking from my job, or some people would put like holidays throughout the year, but like I really don't have that many holidays to write down here. And for step trackers and weight trackers, I have my Fitbit. I don't necessarily need to be keeping that on paper when I already have a perfectly fine digital version of it. So I thought the one thing that I'm not tracking very well that will be useful for my medical stuff, and especially while I'm on a weight loss journey this year, is symptom tracking. And I tried to include things that are not only like physical symptoms, but also like like hormonal symptoms, moods related. I've got when I'm working, when I'm streaming, if I hit 10,000 steps, I'm using it as a period tracker. So it's kind of a little bit of everything, but so it's not mood swings like I felt happy today, but it's mood swings like I'm depressed, I'm fatigued, I'm manic, I'm antisocial, I'm irritable. It's major things that I think when I look back over a couple of months, I can probably start to see like hormonal trends that might relate to physical symptoms and maybe some of these bigger symptoms that I'm trying to suss through with my doctor, like my migraines and stuff. So that's kind of why I decided to go with the symptom tracker here. I guess just to back up to the very start, I did pull some tarot cards and oracle cards. I have the Badger Spirit, Fearless and Bold, and I have the Strength card, Fortitude in this deck. So there's a lot of like courage, fiery energy, fearless, courageous, assertiveness, kind of alpha energy, stepping into power. And I think on my journey going back to basics and returning to the roots, it's going to be difficult for me to overcome comfort zones and bad habits and deeply ingrained trails that I've made through the forest, and it's time to pave new trails. And it takes a little bit of courageousness and bravery to go through an unbeaten forest and like whack down a new trail. So I think that's kind of the vibes for the year. I love this artwork, so I had to include it. I have this phrase, you're standing on a bridge watching yourself go by, because I want to kind of bring myself into this headspace where I'm looking at myself from the outside. Honestly, like I've really been resonating with these memes about imagining that you're a sim and you have no choice in your day-to-day life because you're I'm the video game player and I'm controlling my little sim. It kind of makes it easier to go about really, mundane tasks like grocery shopping that I don't necessarily want to do, but the Sims got to. This kind of out-of-body experience I think will help me stay on track with some of the systems that I've put in place this year. Some of the stuff I haven't quite found a use for. This originally had 4 years at a glance. 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. I can't imagine why I would need to see 2023 or 2026. Maybe I just don't have that kind of future sight yet. But so I created a blank space here instead and just put some aesthetic up here. The current year and the next year I can kind of see a use for. So we've already talked about the symptom tracker. So the next section of this planner has the different quarters: first quarter, second, third, and fourth. I really didn't know exactly how to use these parts of the planner either, and I have eventually settled on like a financial tracking. Not extreme, I'm not tracking my income or anything here, but major upcoming bills. I'm kind of very guilty of using Klarna and Shop Pay a lot right now, where I will make a purchase and then I will set it up for like, there are 3 payments every other week for like a month and a half. So I'm using that to kind of help track when paydays are coming in, when my subscriptions are due, when my bills are due. And the first month for January, I kind of tried to create like a little budget pinwheel. Not only did I think this turned out really ugly, but I didn't even need it. It was kind of unnecessary. Everything up here I never ended up referencing or using. So what I've done here is kind of like estimate how much money I'm going to make instead, worried less about making it cute and pretty and more just about like jotting down notes about kind of expected income to make sure that I'm covered for the bills and things like that. And I will keep probably altering this as the months go on until I find like the perfect system and way to utilize this budget tracking up here. After the quarterly breakdown, I have a little artwork that is just aesthetic and pretty. Definitely feeling the butterflies this year. I like this feeling of like being happy in the rain, taking things in stride and going out in spite of the rain too, not letting that stop me from doing things like going to the gym and stuff like that. This next section of the planner is a monthly breakdown that is a routine tracker. I'm using it as a habit tracker. So we're coming to the end of January. I didn't start using this planner until the 10th of January. I was still kind of designing it in the first little bits of the year. I can definitely see some things in here that like literally I drink soda every day of the month and I wanted to start trying to reduce soda. So now that I'm coming to the end of the month, I should start asking myself like, why have I only not hit snooze one time this entire month? Why have I not used my dream journal except one time this month? And some of these are really simple. Like I don't have enough time in the morning morning to write a dream journal. Why don't I have enough time? Because I'm hitting snooze 4 times instead of getting up, right? Why am I hitting snooze? Because I'm not going to bed early enough. Why am I not going to bed early enough? Because I can't stop playing video games. So there's like some shadow work to do here, some journaling, some reflection. I don't just want this to be a pointless habit tracker, because there's kind of something that I've been seeing a bit talked about in planner community, online planner discussion, where the point of a habit tracker is to help create habits. I shouldn't be tracking things just for the sake of tracking things. So I tried not to put stuff on here unless it was important for me to kind of solidify. And I can definitely see some things here that have become daily occurrences over the last week that were kind of spotty at the start. Doing my skincare, desk reset, quick tidy. These are things that I've seen start to solidify. And even down here, I'm seeing things start out spotty and get a little more solid towards the end. I do think now that I'm coming to the end, it's time to look back and reflect and see how next month these can be fully filled in instead of spotty. And then I think once I go like a month or two where they're completely filled in, they can be dropped off my habit tracker and I don't need to track them anymore. And I can add new things that I want to incorporate new habits with. I do have daily over here. You can see down here's a blank version. I've cut this in half because there's like 4 little boxes to the left here and all of these to the right. So I made a weekly spot to the left and a daily spot to the right. And there's definitely some stuff that like YouTube video and blog post, I still want to get to where I'm doing that weekly. So here I am. But anyway, habit tracking, I'm sure y'all are all very, very well aware of habit tracking and how that works, but that's what's going on for me so far. I still need to set up my habit tracker for February. Here I have another aesthetic page, and we did talk a little bit about comfort zones earlier, but I'm following the path that's leading me away from my comfort zone, even if it's difficult and I'm looking back and I'm missing the safe, comfy, warm bed. I need to get up and not hit snooze. It's going to open up more time and ability for me to get the stuff done that I want to get done, and I will feel more accomplished and more happy overall. So now we're getting into the actual monthly and weekly planner portion. I got my planner in December of 2023, and what I really like about the Wonderland 222 is it gives you December of the previous year and then the full 12 months of the year that you're going into, which lets me get the planner early and kind of settle into it before the new year starts. And I really like that. I was able to use my month at a glance a little bit when I was trying to do my 30-day stream marathon, which I did fall off on, but it taught me that I can do stuff every day, even if I'm not necessarily feeling it. And it also taught me that it's okay not to do stuff every day just because you said you were going. Like this whole thing of going to the gym every day is another example besides streaming. It's not necessarily a good idea for me to go to the gym every day. So it's okay for me to take days off when I need to have rest days. I learned a lot from my December attempt at a stream marathon. I use the next page just to test out my pens and markers and highlighters. I have another aesthetic page with our little meditating girl, another butterfly, and I try not to use phrases that feel negative to me, but this phrase I saw on Pinterest, I think, said the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And this feels negative to me because it's kind of a call out, and I try not to do, I don't like to surround myself with words that make me feel bad about myself, but I think this is, whether it makes me feel bad about myself, like sometimes maybe I need a little tough love. My friend Panthera said that. Sometimes tough love is what you need. And I think this is a bit of a tough love for me. I'm avoiding doing certain things. I'm avoiding going to the gym, and I'm avoiding streaming and making content and updating my blog. And the magic I'm looking for is in those areas that I'm actively avoiding. So I'm trying to lean into that. And again, that's going to draw on this courage energy from the badger to kind of push me out of my comfort zones into areas that I'm uncomfortable being in. But that's where the growth is. And that's what I'm hoping is for lots of growth this year. So this was the first actual week spread that I tried to do. This was when I was still doing the stream marathon. So the purple down here is stream, and I had my work schedule highlighted, and I did like minimal decorating. I used a to-do list over here. I was trying a sleep tracker for a second, but again, I have a Fitbit for that. So why bother is kind of what I feel like. I can look on my Fitbit and have a way better function for this. days. I did try kind of like mini journaling, like a couple of sentences about what I spent the day doing, which I actually don't dislike, and I might kind of incorporate that. I'm going to jump ahead into January a little bit for the weeklies. So this was the first week of January. I did this one week of December, and then I didn't do the next week at all because I started trying to design the rest of the planner. And then I actually started using the weeklies in January. I did feel that I was over decorating these first couple of weeks, especially this week. I felt like I didn't really have any space to actually write the planner stuff down. So I started easing up a little bit on the decorating. I tried to keep it more minimal just in the corners. When the week was over, or I started nearing the end of it, I started adding bigger blocks to fill in space. But again, like I kind of feel like this one looks cluttered, and I'm having a hard time like zooming in on important spaces because there's just so much clutter. And maybe that's like my state of mind is a little too cluttered. So here I tried to get it organized a little bit more. I tried to track information about the gym when I started going here. But again, I have a Fitbit, so why bother is kind of what I'm feeling like. I can organize this better and I can go and quickly navigate through my Fitbit. So it's not really necessary to bring it into here, which is why that doesn't continue. Going into the first week of February, I feel like I'm starting to kind of hit my stride here. This has like overall the least amount of decoration, but I feel like I have more space for actually planning. Today is Tuesday, so I went to work. Most of my day was spent at work, so I didn't have a lot to do. Monday was a day off, so I had a lot of stuff to kind of to do over here. And I feel like the way these weeks are laid out, I can very clearly see my work schedule. I'm also using this to track daily tip amounts, these little circles here. To-do lists for sure, just kind of keeping them in one spot. And I have my weekly to-do lists at the start that I'll kind of try and filter in through the rest of the week as it goes on. I don't know, I'm kind of seeing this evolve as the weeks go on, and I wonder how this is going to look as we get, you know, further throughout the year, how I'll keep up with everything. But as of right now, I'm, you know, on like Sunday/Monday, the end of one week, right around here in the Sunday area, I'll go ahead and set up the next week. So next week is blank. For my February, I don't fill it out until it's the week of. And this is where bullet journaling stresses me out, because I feel like in bullet journaling, I would have had to have already made these grids for myself. But with this planner, it's been so nice because it's pre-built in, but it's light enough that I can ignore it and I can make the layout kind of suit my needs. So for example, these end of month, start of month kind of review sections, this is the December review and the January overview. They're not going to look too different right now because I actually really like what I've started myself out on, but I have a more of, less of, a general review, my gratitude section, and miscellaneous notes. I was keeping my social media stats at first. I did not continue that in January because it just feels unnecessary. I have a section in the back of my planner where I do analytics anyway. And then I have an unfinished business section, which is like stuff that was on my to-do list that I didn't get done that needs to be carried over. And then for the January overview, or the upcoming month overview, I have a mini month at a glance calendar. I did a little quote here, or on February, I added a wish list section because I realized in the notes here, I put a wish list. So I was like, let me just make a whole section for my January wish list. And I kept time-based content, which is like stuff that needs to be done relevant to January or relevant to things that are happening in January, like the full moon in Leo. 2024 planner setup. Here we are in February doing it. At least it's at the start of the year. I feel like that's good enough. And then I cut this middle section down. Here's what the blank parts of this look like. So I really was able to customize this for my needs, but I created like a month at a glance, but like in a list version of like when the holidays are coming up, when birthdays are happening. And then I have a to-do list for the month, which I will then trickle down into the rest of the weeks kind of on an as needed basis. I'm pulling tarot cards. So it's very cool. I've just got these scotch taped in, so I'm going to take them out at the end of the year, but I'm using my tiny tarot deck, which if you watched my like 40 plus tarot video, you already know I have this, but I'm using my little tiny tarot and I'm pulling cards. For the first month, I had Ace of Swords and Seven of Swords. And for February, I just drew the Ace of Cups reversed and the Tower card, which I'm just like, great. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm like, I don't know exactly what... Anyway, that's a whole other video. Anyway, so towards the end of the month, yesterday, actually, I've got like 2 or 3 days left of January, but I went ahead and like did what do I want more of? What do I want less of? What's my general review of January? What am I grateful for? And then just various things, my unfinished business that needs to carry over. And then we're coming into February. I've set up my month at a glance. I actually don't have a lot of stuff happening in February, which is a relief because January and December have felt kind of hectic and like I have a lot going on. This month at a glance looks fuller because my work schedule's already filled in. And I guess I don't have paydays marked down here, but I don't have as many birthdays. I don't have as many celebrations. I don't have as many events and things happening. And it feels good to see it just feels less stressful. And I think that's the thing is like these cluttered starts to this planner have made me feel more stressed, and I'm liking these cleaner feeling things. There's more space to work it out. My mind feels like I just feel like I have more space. My mind feels more at ease. There's so much space for activities. So first week of February going strong, and I'm going to skip through the rest of the months because they're all the same, but I will show you one completely untouched month just so you can see like we have the review, overview, the month at a glance, and then it goes into weeks at a glance here. And it's kind of broken into these 3 sections. You have a top bar, a bottom bar, and then it's labeled from 7 a.m. until 2100, so 9 p.m. I think. And there's kind of a light gray bar that breaks these up into 3 chunks. So it could be like morning, afternoon, evening, or school, work, personal, or kids, husband, me. Like there's a bunch of different ways you could actually apply this for yourself. I'm loving the layout of this planner. It's exactly what I've needed. And it just goes through the weeks and then it circles back around to the review, overview, and then we start a new month. Coming to the end of December, there's a blank page here for notes and kind of whatever you need it for. I haven't decided anything to do with this yet, but I do have my goals on the next page. And here in my goals section, I've created 6 major areas of my life: physical, financial, creative, family, mental, and personal, that I have big goals that I'm trying to tackle. And of these 6, I actually kind of have isolated that there are 3 major goals that really need planning, which is the physical one, the financial one, and the creative one. Those actually, I'm kind of breaking these down even further. But for my physical goal, it's obviously weight loss, and that encompasses a lot more than just losing weight. I'm also tackling my diet, my lifestyle, and my sleeping, and all kinds of stuff like that. But my major goal is to lose 85 pounds, to come under the 200-pound mark. I do think I might intend to make content about that, but I'm still feeling pretty self-conscious and vulnerable about it, so I'm really not sure. I have released a video in the past about that weight loss goal, and I got a few messages and comments that made me realize that it's not something I really I struggle with it so much personally that it's even harder when I have strangers commenting on it too, well-meaning or not. So anyway, that's one section. The second section is financial. I want to save $2,000 by the end of the year. And there's kind of a secondary financial one, which is under my personal goal, to buy a laptop. So not only do I want to save the $2,000, but I also want to invest in a big piece. That's another major investment. So that's a big chunk of money too. Creative wise, I want to publish 40 YouTube videos. Originally this said hit X amount of subscribers on YouTube, but I saw something that recommended that you never make goals that are out of your control. And I can't control whether somebody hits subscribe on my channel or not. That's out of my control. But what I can control is if I make a video or not. So instead of saying I want to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which immediately puts the power in 100,000 people's hands, not my hands, I'm going to say I want to make 40 YouTube videos, which is 3 or 4 videos a month. And I think that's hopefully an achievable goal, but man, I'm going to have to get off my ass. So then I have a family related goal, but it could also be house or domestic. I didn't really know exactly what phrase to use for this, but I want to remodel the basement downstairs. I've got all of my art studio stuff and storage stuff just in boxes, and I want to get all of my clothes and art supplies out, tidy the place up, maybe put a little gym, like a home gym kind of situation, and paint and decorate. And so I want that to be kind of a big year project for myself. Mental is learn Spanish, which I'm on a 115-day streak with Duolingo. So llevo 15 días aprendiendo español in Duolingo, and I'm very proud of myself. That's like the longest streak I've had in anything, and has actually been one of my motivating factors for joining the gym. If I can stream for 14 days in a row, if I can learn Spanish for 115 days in a row, then I can go to the gym 4 days in a row each week. And that's a bit of the foundation for how I'm going through this year. And then the personal one we went over is buying a laptop. So I have them listed here, and on this page I have them broken down so that I've got a little paragraph kind of explaining the whys and maybe a little bit of the process of how I'm going to go about these particular goals. On the next page for my goals, I have the first half, quarter 1, quarter 2, second half, quarter 3, quarter 4. So it's like semester 1, semester 2, and then the 4 quarters. So I can kind of like break down and overview where I want to be at these times of the year with the goals. And then I had a monthly breakdown, January, February, March, etc., so that I can kind of track or write. So like here I can see that in February I need to save $250, and that's to reach my first half goal of saving $1,000. I've already missed January, so I had to break it down into 2 months. I don't know if it's going to happen, but this is kind of how I'm tracking myself. And I'm not going to lie, when I was doing these goal pages, I really don't know what my vision was when I was setting up this page, and this page, because it kind of feels redundant after a while. But I do think seeing like the first half of the year I need $1,000, then actually looking into like February that's $250. I do kind of like, I can kind of see the vision here. This is like brainstorming the why. This is the actual breakdown of the timeline, and then this is the little microscopic, like, here's what I need to focus on for February instead of getting lost in the sauce of the 6-month overarching goal. That's kind of my approach with goal setting. And I was trying to make sure that a lot of the portions of this planner were kind of contributing to these goals that I have overall. Some of them, I think really 3 of these goals that I pointed out are kind of the main goals that I have for this year. And the rest of them, there's not really much I can like action every day for learning Spanish. I mean, I guess I probably could, but I don't think that these 3 feel like as much of a priority to me as the content, money, and weight loss. Moving on from goals, in the next section, I have my financial tracker. And I did kind of have an oopsie when I set this up. I thought, I don't know, I really underestimated how many transactions I make, but expenses, I ran out of space really fast and had to make an extra. Not only did I have to make an extra flap, but I also had to start tracking my money and just applying at the end of the week the different genres like gas, pet supplies, gifts, essentials, non-essentials, because it was just like taking up way too much space. And this is actually where I'm going to stop and show y'all a second notebook that I have. This was a gift from one of my coworkers, this little notebook, but I use this for daily spending. So I'm tracking what I spend. I have them color coded for the different genres, as I just called it: bills, fast food, snacks, groceries, etc. And every day when I get home, I write down everything that I spent that day. And I have definitely noticed, like, this was one day, this is one day. And now that I'm here, this is my 3rd weekend to doing this. This is one day, and this is one day. I've definitely, in some cases, yes, I'm spending less, but it's also like I'm condensing my transactions. So instead of like buying like cat food from here and food from there and this from there, and it ends up being 5 transactions, I'm now buying it all from one spot at the grocery store, which end up saving me money, kind of thing. As you can see, this one is not color coded yet. I wait until the end of the week, and then I come back and color code and then add them up into the genres. And that's when I put them into my planner over here. And I will do like a total, a big tally at the end of the week. And my income over here, I'm kind of tracking the total. And then I have a kind of an expected budget for all of the major genres. And I'm going to see actual and difference, and then starting bank, ending bank. Don't judge me. But I'm trying to get a little bit of control over my finances so that I can get some savings going on and not just feel like I'm constantly living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. And I also work as a barista, so tips are a huge part of my income. And a lot of times I would just leave work and be like, cool, this means I have $50 I can spend right now. And now instead I'm like trying really hard to bring that $50 home and figure out how I can add it all up together at the end of the week for a big grocery trip. That's where I'm trying to get, hopefully. I'm going to do a different one of these for, February, March, April, all the way through. They've each got their own page here. And at the end of this little finance section, I have a couple of extra pages for if I need any other kind of tracking systems, but I also have my savings page. I've got this highlighted in because I did have $40 in my savings jar and then I had to take it out. So I'm not going to use a highlighter or a marker to mark this anymore. I'm going to use washi tape so that I'm just so notorious for like, here's $40. Just kidding. I need that for gas. So I want to give myself space to mess up a little bit and to, you know, oops, I need that 20 kind of thing. So I'm going to use washi tape to tape these off as I go along. And next I have a section that I'm hopefully is going to relate to my content section, but this is my media log. And the good part is here, but I have a scratch page to kind of not feel pressured to do artwork every time I watch a movie, but I have a watch list and I have movies that I want to watch. And I'm kind of trying to check these off. Actually, I have one that I can check off. I watched one today. Killing of a Sacred Deer. So I'm writing movies down as I come across them in like Instagram lists or YouTube videos. And then when I watch them, I add them to this list. Once I draw them on my actual like media log and do my little review, then I cross them off over here. So I give myself a scratch page. I might need to use a different notebook at a certain point because I'm realizing how many movies I actually watch. I knew I watched a lot of movies, but I didn't realize it was this much. This is all in January, which maybe doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot for me considering I work a lot too. I just really enjoy watching movies. Anyway, whenever I have a second to sit down, and this has mostly happened over the weekends on my days off, I will come in and I will draw the movie poster, or some of the movie posters are like definitely above my art level. So like for The Fly, I did my own. I come in and draw the poster, the name of the movie, the date that I watched it, and then I'll do a little like paragraph kind of first reaction, just so if I want to come in and I want to do a movie review, I can kind of reference my state of mind when I first watched the movie and maybe tap back into it a little bit. And then I have a little 5-star rating system underneath all of them. Bricklayer, horrible movie. Night Swim, horrible movie. I don't watch these. But Saltburn, Crimes of the Future. So I'm very excited to like talk about movies and stuff like this. And then I'll have I think this is so fun. It's such a creative, interesting, and it's like a little scrapbook too. I've been having a lot of fun drawing all of these little images and trying to pick out which movie poster I go with, because some of them are a little above my art skill level, but still trying to like have a creative take on things. It's been very interesting. So I'm schmovin'. This is January, took up almost 2 pages, and I only gave myself space for I think 100 movies. I didn't think I was gonna watch. I underestimated how much of a media junkie I am, I guess. But I think this is going to look really cool at the end of the year, and it's going to be very fun to look back on. And once this planner's done, I might end up ripping these pages out and just keeping it for fun. But that's my media log. Next, we have the fitness section. And in the fitness section, I have a 2-page weight loss tracker where I will also be using washi tape because my weight fluctuates a couple of pounds as it works its way down. I'm going to try not to weigh myself every day because I actually think that stresses me out more. And I don't know. I'm not exactly sure when and how I'm going to go about tracking this, if I want to do it once a week or every couple of days. But as I lose weight, and something I've realized is I should have had like on this spread itself, like a starting weight section so that I knew where I was losing weight from. But once I start to lose the weight, then I'm going to mark these off like 1 pound lost, 2 pounds lost, 3 pounds. My goal is here at 85, but I did give myself extra space because if I could lose 100 pounds this year, that would be dope. Send me good vibes. So I've got that page. The next one, I have my measurements, and I actually am not going to be taking my measurements every month. February, April, June, August, October, and December. I'm going to take my measurements every other month. It's very stressful to take my measurements actually. And I think that I'm trying to step back from that stress a little bit and give myself more space. And I do have a little note down here that says to take measurements at the first of every month. And the same with my analytics page for my have we not gotten there yet? We haven't gotten to the content section yet. Okay. Well, take measurements on the first of every month. So 2 days from now, I'm actually going to be doing my first set of measurements. And, yeah. And then I have my workout tracker. So I have it broken down for every day of the month and then in increments of 5 minutes. This was a really cool like tracking system that my friend Panthera showed me, that she found one like this where, so I have like stretching, treadmill, elliptical, upper body, lower body, core, yoga, Pilates, dancing, and miscellaneous cardio with a different color coordination. So I'll come in and highlight like 15 minutes spent on the treadmill, 20 minutes spent on upper body, etc. And then I'll be able to see kind of over the month how my workouts have been broken down. And I think that as someone who's like getting into a fitness routine, I think this will really help me kind of refine my time spent and things like that. I gave myself up to 115 minutes. My workouts are typically between 60 and 80 minutes right now. So I would like to work it up. It'd be cool if I spent like an hour or two, you know, like 2 hours in the gym. I really want to become one of these people that I see on Instagram who are like, their lifestyle is the gym's part of their lifestyle. And I really would like that. I've always wanted to be a healthy person, and I just got a lot of problems. So I'm working on it. But I did give myself a page each month. I decided not to stress about January. The big accomplishment in January was paying for the gym, getting the deposit down. I paid for 2 months in advance and starting to go and getting into the routine of it after work. So that was my big hurdle. And February is going to become not only tracking the individual workouts, but also starting to incorporate routines. Right now I'm just doing basic cardio. And in February, I want to start incorporating weight training as well. And then I have one page for each month in here. And I think I have a couple pages at the end in case I need extra. This page, I thought I was going to end up using more than I really think I have, but I was kind of hoping that I could use it to just kind of block out what days I'm going to the gym, which days are yoga and which days are not. And this might be something that works out for me, but as of right now, it's not. It's not helpful. It's kind of pointless, but it's doing its best. So I have some extra pages for whatever other stuff I might need for fitness. And then we get to the content section. And this is one of my favorite cover pages that I've made. It's just scrapbooked with a bunch of stickers and little deco pages that my friend Dougsley sent me. And in here I have an aesthetic page and an analytics tracker, which I will also record on the first of each month. But this is just going to be breakdowns for my website, my mailing list, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest, Twitch concurrent viewers, and Twitch followers. And I'm hoping that this is going to be kind of like the social media strategy that I'm taking this year. And you never know though. I feel like every other month a different social media platform is relevant and one is no longer. Anyway, the next couple of pages are just like kind of like semi-decorated to make me excited about them, but these are just brainstorming pages. I don't have anything solid here. This is just jotting down ideas, maybe blog post ideas, YouTube video ideas. For example, over here, it says, if I'm going to release weekly YouTube content, I should be teasing it with shorts the day before the YouTube video goes up. How can I get this kind of production schedule? What does it look like? So this was just like a little brainstorm moment where it's like, if I'm going to get to a point where I'm making weekly content, then I have to have some kind of editing process and things set in place so that I have a little like 60-second video to post on my Instagram reels, my YouTube shorts, TikTok, and be like, hey, this video is coming out tomorrow. Like, I need to get into a better production schedule. And that's where we come to the end of the planner. And that's what I've got so far. Long video, whatever. I don't care. YOLO. Hopefully some of y'all enjoyed the full thing. I really like on the OBS video that I did where I said, leave a strawberry if you made it to the end. It's been very cute seeing the little strawberry. So once again, if y'all are stuck with me to the end to see the whole planner and hear the whole spiel, drop me a strawberry in the comments. I have no idea what the next video is going to be. If you have any more questions about the planner, I can do some of my like supply flip through. I have all of my highlighters and stuff that I've been using that I'd be happy to go over, or things like that. Also, look how cute my freaking sticker book is. I found it at a thrift store here. It's a little Pokemon, cute. It's stuffed to the brim. It's for Pokemon cards, but I'm using it to organize my stickers. And this is actually made working in my planner a lot easier and a lot less stressful to just have stuff everywhere. I kind of know where to find everything. I guess I'm gonna wrap up the video here and say that I hope you have all had a really nice start to 2024, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in more videos that are probably going to be centered around a lot of the stuff you saw me: fitness content, media reviews, video game reviews for sure. I have a couple of video game ideas, video game related content ideas up my sleeve. So yeah, Are y'all using planners this year? Let me know what you think of the Wonderland 222, and if you're using a planner, what kind of planner you're using, and maybe what some of your goals are. What's your number one major goal that you're going to be doing this year? I'm gonna go. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, okay, bye everybody.